Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkbutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. We're going to be using the Snowy Delights dies and decorative masks to create multiple cards today. So that's what we're gonna use primarily to make our toppers. Sentiment today has come from Gift of Joy, because I wanted something that had a sentiment that I could use just straight out of the set. There is a larger Merry Christmas in some of the other sets that you could substitute that out, but I wanted something that was a single stamp, because I wanted to do this as a batch. Okay, so that's what I've done. It's just use this lovely little Happy Christmas. It doesn't detract from the snowflake, and I know happy isn't always everyone's cup of tea, but it does the job today. Okay, right, let's pop those out of the way to one side. So the I actually made 9 of these cards, and they're all identical, and we're going to do another 9. I'm not going to assemble and do every single one on camera because I think you might sort of fall asleep, but I'm going to show you the process that I adopted to get these all done. As you can see, all identical, using some coloured cardstock as a base, and this is the two-tone cardstock. In this example, I've used Pool Party, and then I've then used the masks. I've only used 3 out of the 4 though, and used Pool Party, Summer Splash and Pretty Peacock. Pretty Peacock is also for the sentiment. Layered it up and just added some rhinestones. Okay, so just on a plain white card base. Okay, and basically I did that times 9. Okay, and I'm just going to show you some of those steps. So there will be some bits that are a little bit repetitive. Obviously, you know, just watch this on times 2 or something, and I hope you've been excuse me, I hope you enjoy the ideas. Right, let's pop those behind me out of the way just for a second. So for the snowflakes then, I've already prepped 6 of these, so we're going to create another 3 whilst you're with me. This is actually Balmy Blue. This is the two-tone cardstock. So there's a dark side and a light side, so we're going to use the light side, and as you'll see, the masks are still got ink all over them, because I knew I was going to use them again, so no point cleaning up if you're going to use them again. Okay, so just need some low tack tape as well, just to help with this. And this is stencil number 1, or mask number 1, and I'm just going to pop this all the way over to the left here, and just tape that into place. This is just low tack tape. So I should say that this Balmy Blue, it's a 12 by 12 sheet. I have cut into 3 4-inch wide strips. Okay, and I can get 3 snowflakes on each, which means you can get 9 on a 12 by 12 sheet. Okay, so you could not cut it down, but I thought it was easier, because then you're going to go and die cut it as well. Okay, so that's what I did. 3 strips. I've already done 6 of them, and we're going to do another one. So our colours then, we're going to start with the Balmy Blue, tone on tone. Okay, and we'll bring in our blending brushes and just apply some ink to this. Okay, starting in the middle, working my way out, and really nice and easy. This is I really wouldn't worry too much about making it perfect. There's so many layers going onto this, no one's going to notice. Okay, so whoops, let's just peel that back on itself. So I found it easier to flip it 180 and then do the other one on the left hand side. Just tuck that back. Bit more ink again, start from the centre, work your way out, go clockwise and anti-clockwise. That will do, and then we'll do another one in the centre. So the advantage of doing it so that you do the ends and then the middle means that you are sure that things aren't going to overlap each other and you're not going to run out of space. Okay, so if you work your way down, just be careful you don't run over the edge here. You could pop a couple of bits of tape on either side just to help prevent any anything spilling over the edge. Okay, so that's layer 1, and we've got 3 balmy blue on balmy blue there. Let's take mask number 2, and these are really easy to line up. Just rotate that around until you don't see any of the white spaces around that central portion there, and that'll be good to go. And again, don't worry too much if it's not quite lined up. Okay, nature isn't perfect, so we don't have to be. So we're switching out the balmy blue and we're going to use Azure Afternoon. It's like a nice bright mid-tone. I'm going to swap brushes. And we'll go over that. Not going super heavy with this colour. But I want those edges nicely done there. Okay, flip it 180 and repeat. Okay, so as I say, this is going to have a lot of repetitive steps in it because of you know, we're doing a batch of cards. But I thought it might be useful for you guys to see the process. Give you some ideas if you are still working through your cards. And you know, it's a time of year where we do send a lot of cards, and you might have like work colleagues or whatever that you want to do some cards for. And you know, if you're not looking to make anything too complicated or bespoke for anybody, these are really cool. So I've used a Happy Christmas, but with it being a snowflake, you could use a non-Christmas sentiment. The Snowflake Kisses stamp set has some nice non-Christmassy but winter sort of sentiments. Sending warm hugs, I think, or something like that. Okay, so you can still give during this season for those who don't celebrate Christmas. Okay, so Azure Afternoon, and now we're going to have our third and final layer added to this now. So again, just rotate that around until all those pale bits disappear. Hopefully you can see that on camera. Okay, and then, oh, blue is my nemesis, I'm telling you. You know how some people, red ink is, you know, always ends up all over me. It's always blue ink for me. Maybe it's because I use it so much. And now we're using Night of Navy because I wanted something really nice and deep and dark to put in those contrast details. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because we've got smaller openings for this. And again, we're going to work out from the middle. It looks like there's absolutely loads of ink wasted on this stencil, but honestly it's not actually that much. You can pull it in while it's still wet as well to help fill in those small details, but there isn't actually that much left over really. Okay, so that's how that looks. Not cute, like it. So the balmy blue layer, if you wanted to save some time, if you want to look at this before I put in all the detail, only really shows as like a bit of a shadow, and then in the middle here and then when we put the final layer on, it kind of disappears even more. So if you wanted to skip layer 1 and just go with layers 2 and 3, that would be cool as well. Or, you know, just mix and match it however you want. You could just probably get away with just one, actually, to be fair. So the choice is yours as to how many layers you want to include. Okay, right, reposition that, and again we'll go through the middle there. Definitely for these little bits, you definitely want to try and go in both directions to make sure you get those completely coloured. Go. So just bring in a bit more from the outside in, just to help make that nice and solid. There we go. And then our third and final piece in the middle. Oops. Again, just twist that round until those little, you don't see any halo around. I look at those petals and the ones in the centre, they're a good guide. And there we go, this is our final bit of ink blending. Again, just watch this edge, but because you're further in, you're less likely to go off the edge, but you know, just be mindful of that. And with this dark ink, it will definitely show. Okay, and then don't forget as well, I mean, I've used sort of, shall we say, reasonably traditional colourways, but colour entirely up to you. Looks really nice in sort of pinks and purples, so you still get that sort of Christmassy frosty look, but with a different combination. There we go. So there's our 3 large snowflakes there, and there's a die. Well, there's 2 dies in the set that do 2 things. So there's the one, I've left this one in the packet, and this one would give you a bigger border around the edge. Now with the 4-inch strip, that would be too big to fit around it, but it's an option if you wanted to use this, if you were doing single ones, or cut the strips wider. So what I'm using is the next one down, which just cuts this out as an absolute outline. Oh, got stuff all over my hands. What have I got that I can wipe my hands on quickly? I don't think I have anything. Okay. Hopefully I won't transfer anything. Okay. So we'll just die cut these now. This won't take terribly long time because these are nice simple shapes and you don't need to pick out anything. Okay, so just to remind you, this is what we're aiming for. Doesn't look completely different with the blue, right? Okay, so I'm just going to run these 3 just quickly through the cutting emboss. Okay, so we'll just pop those out. So because we've cut it into the strips, it's going to be dead easy just to reposition this die. She says holding her breath while she concentrates, and just lines those up, tuck it into place, and that one through. Oops. So there's number 2. Let's just take off our excess that's getting in the way. All of that can go in the recycle bin. cat's now shouting at me, so sorry if you can hear the cat shouting at me. She's fine, don't worry. She's just wondering why she's been evicted from this room. Okay, right, so let's just line that final one up. There we go. And that's number 3. Nice and easy shapes, die cut. So another alternative, if you want to speed up this process, is just ink straight onto a card panel and forgo the die cutting. Okay, so you can make this bit flat. Let's pop that to one side. Let's pop that out of the way. Okay. So that's our ink blended snowflakes all done. Okay. And what I've already done is die cut the fussy ones to go on the top. Now, I did that ahead of time simply because you do need to kind of weed out the bits in the centre and sort of finagle that out a little bit. But again, it's when you're batch making, it's kind of good to you know, do it in little stages. Okay, so this bit I did in one stage while I was watching telly, basically. Okay, right, I'm going to pop these out to one side. So for the glue on this, I'm just going to put just a speck of glue on each of these I don't know, what would you call these little bits? Let's go around each of those, just a couple of bits in the middle. I'm going to go and do 2 at a time. So again, another saver. I'm using the silicone craft sheet as well, which protects your surface. Okay, and we'll have one more to do after that. So now I'm going to pop that in front of me like so. I'm going to grab one of these, and rather than putting the long sort of arm against the long arm, I'm actually rotating that round and sort of offsetting that a little bit. You do you. If you want to stick it in a different way, you can. And then I'm going to use a D block to just weigh that down and let that dry. Okay, so we'll do that again. Just grabbing that, and as you can see, I've oriented that so that it's sort of up and down rather than as a cross, as an X. So when I layer this over the top, I don't need to worry about that. So again, I'm going to pop that over there, put a D block on, and then I've got one more to do. Okay, so batches of 3 even, you know, just it depends how many cards you need to make, I guess. So again, we'll just whiz round those bits there, a couple of bits in the middle, and same again. Line that up. As best you can anyway. Again, don't worry, you know, if it's not quite, it'll be fine. So those are all sitting there drying. Okay, so we've got our sort of centerpiece now. Okay, so we need to stamp our sentiments. Okay, so I've already cut some little strips. Now these are 1/4 inch by 2, I think. Yeah, 2. And we're gonna pop those out. Obviously I've got 9. I haven't stamped these ahead of time. We're going to need our Night of Navy back in. Bring in another colour if you want, but I figured the 3 would be sufficient here, so I'm just going to ink that up, hover over the top and get those stamped. Okay. I want to make sure that there's enough ink on there. This is probably the single most kind of the step that kind of takes a bit of brain power, just so that you line it all up. Again, I wanted an option that didn't involve another set of die cutting, which makes it faster, but obviously you've got options if you wanted to do that. I've also opted just to cut them straight rather than doing anything fussy with them, again so that it makes it faster. That one's not quite straight, but don't worry. And there. Okay, so I'm trying not to handle them while they're wet. They're quite small. The ink dries quickly though. Okay, a couple more to go. And these strips were very easy to cut on a trimmer. Cut the width first, the 2 inches, and then sliced it down. Okay, there we go. 9 happy Christmases. Okay, and I've got ink everywhere. Right, definitely need to just grab something just to wipe that off. Where's my little cloth? There it is. It's gonna pop a spit of water on that just to make sure I've got no wet ink that's going to go everywhere. Okay, right, so I'm going to flip those over, just line those up over there. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to finish up these toppers now. Let's pop those D blocks out of the way. Flip these over, and we're going to use some dimensionals onto these. And we're going to do 3. There's 6 arms on the snowflake, so let's just do it in a 3 like that. I'm sure I've read before about how many arms a snowflake should have. I don't mind, as long as it's pretty. I don't mind. I like snowflakes. It's always I always find I can use these in lots of ways, so I like to have these. So here's the other 6 that I've already done. Already got the dimensionals on the back. And again, you might want to set it up so that you've got sort of 3 sets of 3 that you can just grab. Depending on your workspace, I don't have a lot of workspace, you can obviously lay these out, and if you've got someone who can help you, even better, because they can get all the little backings for you. So I'm just going to hover over these and just pop that down. These are just thick basic white card bases. So one sheet of A4 can make 2 card bases. I've opted for white just for speed, and you can orient your snowflake where you want as well. So to cut your card bases, for those of you who might be new to card making, you can get 2 out of an A4 sheet. I score first at on the long side, the long side, at 5 7/8 of an inch, and then I cut lengthways at 4 1/8. If you want a side folding card rather than top folding card, it's the same measurements, but you start the other way around. Score on the short side and cut on the long side. Four. Five. And 6. Not worrying about getting them all the same height and whatever. Because it gives you an even. I did 5 sheets, which means I cut 10, and I forgot I still had 10 there. There we go. So it doesn't take long, and I say if you've got an extra pair of hands or a small child that you can persuade to help you, or bribe, then even better. Okay, so there we go. Must have just clipped the die cut on that one, and it's just got a little bit of snowflake missing. Yeah, that's fine. And that's, this is number 9. And voila. Right, so the sentiments then, we're just going to pop on with some seal. Not going to worry about dimensionals, so I'm just running my glue along those, and it's going to run out. Of course it's going to run out. Okay, let's do these 4 that I've got, and then we'll replace that. So again, no rhyme or reason as to where I'm popping this. I think I might go in the middle this time, so there we go, or middle-ish. Once you get into a rhythm of these, it's nice and quick to pop these all together. So that's 4. Right, let's put some more tape in here. So these just open up. Oh, I just need to reach and get a new one. So we'll just lift that out, pop a new one in, the little crosses there, and then just close that back up. And then you'll just need to just roll it on. You'll be able to see it, believe it, you'll have to just trust me, you can see where the tape is on the roll there. And once it gets started, it's usually quite well behaved. So just pop those on. Okay, let's finish up those. Up to Daisy. It's kind of straight. I don't know whether you can hear, but there's a good old I think we might be in for another storm. The wind is really howling outside this evening, and it has been dark all day. It's been a horrible day, but I've been having fun crafting instead. Okay, right, so last thing to add are some rhinestones. Now you can skip this, but I just think it's just nice to have some sparkle on our Christmas cards. And I'm going to run out of these as well, I think. So we're just going to use 2 different sizes there. Let's make those 3. Okay. And then I've got these 3. Okay, and we need another packet of something, so let's see, have I even got, oh, I've got some more rhinestones. Hold, just give me 1 second. Don't think I have. Oh, no, I think we're going to have to use pearls instead. It's fine. You'll be able to see the options. Oops, scraps of cardstock there from another project. Right, last 3 then are going to have pearls on them, which is fine. Bit of an alternative embellishment for you. Oops, goodness me, hands are sticky. Okay, we'll do exactly the same thing. With those. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's it. All done. Okay, there we go. Some batch card making. So I've got 9 cards now, and I've done this twice. I've got 18 cards that I can send out. Okay, so this is what we've just created with some pearls, and then I've got some there with some rhinestones. Okay, and these were the original ones with the sort of pool party. It looks quite green against those ones, doesn't it? But I'll say the purpose of the exercise was to batch make and make a lot of cards very quickly, and that is what we have done. And I hope it's given you some ideas of how you might be able to create your cards this year if you haven't already, just by sort of, you know, trying to use and minimize the amount of steps and do things in multiples. Okay then, so that's it from me today. I hope you're staying safe out there, and keeping warm, okay, and avoiding flu. That's the other thing. And yeah, so that's it from me for today. Stay safe, take care. See you again soon. Bye.